Here's Brody Brazil.
You know what's a trip is that I feel like I can already see the comments and the criticism against this video, and I haven't even made it yet. I honestly already know what people are going to say. Oh, you're just hating on the Raiders. Or you've got it in for Las Vegas as a pro sports town. That's not true. Honestly, if I'm guilty of anything, it's just being curious. Yes, about professional sports in Las Vegas, but specifically about the potential future of Major League Baseball in that market. I just got some questions. I'm curious about this, and I've got to bring this up. I saw this from Saturday. It was the final week of the regular season in the NFL. Las Vegas hosting Kansas City. This is a couple minutes into the game. Where is everybody? That's a lot of gray, empty, open seats. And in fairness, I realize Raider fans typically wear darker colors to games, right? Like the silver and mostly black. So they do kind of blend in with the monochrome color of the seats. But oh my goodness, there's also a lot of red there from Kansas City, which we also will discuss in just a second. But the overall attendance here, it's not great. And yeah, I know the season was lost a long time ago. Sure, I know some fans are upset about parting ways with Derek Carr unceremoniously, but really? Last chance to watch football for a long time, and that's the crowd you get? Let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, it's also the end zone seating. Maybe that's less popular. I've got a wider shot to show you in just a second. You'll kind of see that the upper deck, also not extremely populated. So what do you think is going on here? This kind of blows my mind. I thought Raiders are still relatively new there. Stadium's still relatively new, kind of the honeymoon period. They would sell out year after year after year, even with a mediocre team. They didn't even sell out here. And they weren't ashamed to tell you the true attendance, 62,136. But wait a second. Did that really look like less than 3,000 short out of 65,000? I'll show you the wider picture in just a second. You tell me. I won't be the judge and jury on this. You let me know what you think about the true capacity versus what was announced. I should say the true attendance versus what was announced. But also this, per a company called Vivid Seats, they do projections and estimates on stuff like this. They said that 53% of tickets were bought by Kansas City fans. How does that happen? I mean, in a way, if you're the Raiders, it's still a good thing you still sold those tickets, maybe even for a higher value since you knew they were coming from out of market. But that's also got to be frustrating. If you're a player on the Raiders and you've noticed this trend week after week, a couple years after year now, that opposing teams travel and show up really well to your home field and home stadium. But what if the Kansas City fans, what if they didn't buy 53% of all those tickets? What if they only bought 5 or 10%? What would the attendance have looked like this past weekend in Las Vegas for professional football? Football is king, right? Look at the ratings. Look at the attendance across the league. What's going on here? Again, I thought this would be an automatic sellout slam dunk for the first couple years just because of the novelty factor of the NFL in Las Vegas. Okay, so let's show you that wider shot. Oh my goodness. Really? You really think there's only 3,000 empty seats there? I'm going to have to double check the math on that one. Now, it's also not to disrespect Las Vegas as a pro sports town, because the Golden Knights have drawn very well. They're kind of exiting their honeymoon phase of existence. First 5 years, they made the playoffs every year. First year, they went to the Stanley Cup final. No better way to introduce yourself to the fans. They didn't make the playoffs last year, but they seemingly have not had any issues making T-Mobile Arena a home ice advantage, and largely so because of the fans. And then there's also the minor league baseball Aviators, who are the affiliates of the Oakland A's. They regularly get sellouts or near it almost every game, and they don't even play close to the Strip. They're out in Summerlin, and they're also minor league baseball. So we've known that Las Vegas can draw. But this is the NFL. This is right on the Strip. This is only one of 8 regular season home games this year? So there's not even a lot of opportunities to see this happen. And when it did happen here for the final time, they were significantly short of a sellout. So what exactly are my takeaways here? Yes, to recap, last game of a throwaway season for the Raiders, they finished with a 6-11 regular season record. The Derek Carr thing was messy. Maybe, it was just a case of the end and some people didn't go. But overall this year, they drew 95.5% of capacity for home games. That actually has them 23rd in the NFL. 95.5% sounds pretty good, but wait a second. We just showed you 3,000 short. Did it really look 3,000 short? My point is, are you actually getting accurate numbers reported here? And even if those are accurate, they're still 23rd in the league in capacity of attendance. Something to think about there. It was the 8th and final home game. Again, there's not a ton of opportunities to go see professional football, and they still couldn't sell it out. I mean, baseball's different. 81 home games versus 8. How does that draw? How does that play? I don't know. I'm just here posing the questions. You can decide the answers. Yeah, like I said, in the comment section below. A big-time event, an NFL, Sunday, Saturday. Forgive my error there graphically. It was a Saturday. NFL Saturday in Vegas with a new stadium and a relatively new team to the market, and then the whole visiting fans issue. Now, I saw the report that came out that Raider ownership is upset, was disgusted, the right word used. I don't want to completely promote that report. Who knows the accuracy of it or not? I'm just saying that it would make sense if the players were frustrated, the fans were frustrated, and even the ownership were frustrated that other teams' fans are buying to the tune of 53% of total tickets and kind of taking over your home stadium and your home field. Again, it's not a complete issue for the Raiders as a business. They want to sell tickets, but in the long run, do you really want to be known for being the place that other teams travel to and fill up your stadium with their fans? Probably not. So again, all of those are things to think about as it relates to Las Vegas as a professional sports town. And again, I'm not being critical here. I find this all like research, because how long has it been a pro sports market? Not even 10 years close. So we don't know the ebbs and flows. We don't know the tides that come and go. Teams are popular and they'll draw well, but what happens when they're not? And this is football. What happens when they only have a 3-win season? How does attendance look? And how does it relate to baseball, who plays 81 home games a year? Yeah, that old Wednesday afternoon game. How will that draw in Las Vegas? So I'm scared to look. I may not even completely look, but let me know what you think about all this. Wink, wink, in the comments section below.